brother is very excited.
Yeah? Oh, you want to sit right by baby brother, hey? Yep, you're not missing out on this opportunity. Hello, sweet boy. Do you love the baby brother? I know. Shh, let's not make him. Well, hello. It's been a little while. I wanted to finally introduce you to our son, Edward. He's zonked out right now, so hopefully I'll have put some clips in at the beginning so that you can see him a little bit more, because if you get a sleeping baby, you go with it. Also, there's going to be a little bit of rocking and jigging so that I keep him fast asleep. Otto did want to be here, but he was getting a little bit hot and flustered, so he's literally just out of shot. Actually, you might be able to see him here. Time is going so quickly. It really does make me emotional. We are 5 and a bit weeks into this journey now, and yeah, I guess I'll take it right back and very quickly do like a little bit of a birth story. So I left you on a Friday. I uploaded that video, and that day I had edited the video, and it was a really busy day actually. I'd done quite a lot. I'd been to see the midwife, I'd walked into town, I'd seen Ollie, we'd been for lunch, lots of different things. I was pretty exhausted, and by the end of the evening I was starting to get a little bit panicked that I was 41 weeks and kind of long story short, I really didn't want to be induced. I wanted a natural birth in a midwife-led unit, and so that weekend was going to be our weekend to get things moving. We were going to evict him and hopefully get things rolling. That night I actually put on Instagram a little bit of advice as to how you naturally induced labour, and I just thought it was absolutely hilarious that we got into bed, we were chatting about it. I was saying, right, tomorrow we're starting with this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this. I literally rolled over, heard a pop, felt a pop, weirdest sensation of my life, and I said, Dolly, my water's broken. He was very obliging. He literally heard and came. So that was Friday the 12th of January, and it was pretty smooth sailing from there on. I went into the hospital. They said yes, confirmed it was my waters, and what would you like to do? I said go home. I wanted to labour at home for as long as possible and get some sleep. I was like, yeah, I'll sleep through the night. This was 11:40 at night now. Came back home. Within not very long, I was like, there is no way I'm sleeping through this. The contractions had started, and so we started to time them, and it felt like no time at all before the app was saying make your way into hospital. So we literally called them again and were like, it's telling us to come back in. So we went back in, ready this time, as ready as you can be, and luckily they did have a space for me with a birthing pool in the maternity-led unit that I wanted to be on. So we semi-settled in. I was getting contractions pretty intense, to be honest. To make this not a really long-winded story, they died down a little bit. I was in and out of the pool, but pretty quickly I was fully dilated and felt the urge to push. From there on it got more difficult. My gosh, I was saying to everybody, I just don't think there's an easy way to birth a baby. There's just no easy way. That felt like the longest time trying to get him out, and unfortunately I was left with a good few stitches because I had a small episiotomy. It was only I don't know what they call it, a grade 2, so not too bad stitch wise, but it took a lot more recovery than I was anticipating, which I think was a little bit naive on my behalf, because I think you see so many people on social media who are out walking the next day or very quickly. I really took the advantage to recover and spent pretty much, oh hello, I spent the first week in bed. We did a hypnobirthing course and the lovely lady recommended first week in bed, second week kind of around the bed on the sofa. Just take your time to get back into normal life, and honestly that is what we have really been doing. Really also wanted to breastfeed, which has been going really well. But again, it's just so hard. Like, you're recovering. I've never felt so raw and just depleted in my whole life. You know, cracked nipples, they were just so painful. And the motivation and determination to keep going, it's just so hard because you're already feeling so drained. It's like, oh, you're sleep deprived. At the beginning, I don't think we got any sleep because we just wanted to watch him. I was like, is he breathing? Is everything okay? We did have my mum come and stay, which was just the most wonderful thing. My parents were here helping out a lot. My dad looked after sweet little Otto so that I had that little time to recover and it just wasn't so manic in the house. But looking back now, it was just the most magical time, like learning. We're learning so much. He was adapting and learning. And now that we're like kind of 5.5 weeks on, I really feel like, I'm not going to say we've cracked it because we're not there yet. We still have like difficult times, but he's sleeping really well and feeling a lot more like me, which at one point I couldn't believe that I'd ever feel like me again and I'd feel fully recovered, or I'd feel like I had any energy, or like kind of like, how will I come back to YouTube and when will I do that? I'm not fully back now, by the way, but I am just going to dip my toe into a few videos now and then, like kind of check in. I'm hoping, never really wanted to say because I wasn't sure when I would want to come back. I had no idea what kind of birth I'd have. Generally, I feel like I was really lucky. More so with him, I got skin to skin. He latched straight away, perfectly healthy. We got home in 24 hours. So that was all straightforward. It was just my recovery that was a little bit longer. So now that I know that, I think I'll be kind of coming back around April time. Hopefully you can start to see more consistent videos then, but I'd like to do a few more videos up until then, just touching base. We have been getting on with a few things like the nursery. We finally got up the mobile and his like book drawers, shelves type things. And we've been doing a few things in the bathroom too, but we're still kind of navigating this new life. You'll probably see me with him attached on the sling quite a lot. Love doing that. What else is there? Otto has been a little sweetheart. He was absolutely amazing. You never know how things are going to go. He was our first child and I have felt guilty at times that he hasn't been able to have exactly the same attention as he had before, but he's very sweet. He's always been like really into the pack and the family unit, and he accepted Edward straight away. He literally comes in like in the morning when I see him, he gives me a kiss, he gives Edward a kiss. It's so adorable. And as you kind of saw, he always wants to be sat right with us. When I'm feeding all the time, he's like right here with us. Shh, 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 shh. Sorry, a lot of shushing in between, but now that I'm a bit more recovered, I'm able to take them both out. So Ollie is obviously back to work now. He was back for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Now I can take them to the park together and I throw the ball for Otto, and Edward loves the pram. His name we just picked because we liked Edward, we liked how it sounded with a middle and surname that we have. Ollie was really adamant on having something that could be changed, so we actually quite like the idea that in the future he'll be able to pick whether he wants, you know, Edward, Ed, Eddie, Ted. Teddy, for now we are calling him Teddy, but we also kind of thought about Eddie as well, so but for now we think Teddy, and then when he can, he'll get the choice as to what he wants to be called. To be honest, we were so relaxed about names. In fact, I kind of said to Ollie, like, you can pick. We had a few where I was like, I really don't mind, you can pick. It took us so long to pick his middle name, which I'm kind of not saying, I know it doesn't really make a difference, but I want to keep some privacy for him online. We only picked his middle name the day that we got him registered. It was pretty last minute. I just feel like a name, I mean, it's not that we don't care, I just feel like a name just won't really matter as to who he is in this world and what his character is, how kind he is, that kind of thing. So you'll see him popping up every now and then, but maybe not always his face, a few photos. I'm not like purposely going to be keeping him off of the internet fully, but this channel is not going to be just about him. Might be a little bit more about motherhood and just like what's going on in our life, but not particularly featuring him. That's kind of what I prefer, like having the kids much more in the background, and it's just been our personal choice with bringing him up too. I'm just so excited to be a mum. I can't believe that I'm a mum. It's still so surreal. So many of you said because I kept saying when I was pregnant, I just couldn't believe that I'd have a baby at the end of it, and it still feels now like we look at him and it's like, wow, we have a son, like we're doing this, we're raising a child. It's just magical. At the same time, difficult. I do want to like stress on that point. I think there's a lot online where it's like, oh, this newborn bubble, which we definitely have been in, but we've also been surviving a lot of the time, keeping our heads above water in those first few weeks, just like really just trying to navigate what on earth we're doing. And we've learned now. I think it takes time, and I didn't appreciate that. So many people said like 6 weeks, we're getting towards that 6 weeks. 6 weeks it gets easier, and then 12 weeks you really start enjoying it. And I can really see that now. When we were at like 2 weeks, I was like, I really am not sure I believe that. With the breastfeeding, he was cluster feeding all of the time. He's a very hungry boy. He was just under 8 pounds when he was born. He's getting weighed tomorrow, so I'm not sure what he is now. But we found already with some of his sleep suits, like he's going out of the 0 to 3. That's more so because I think he's quite long. But I don't know, we've got like a few of the Mori ones basically, and they just don't seem to fit him in length very well. So that was quite a challenging time. I felt like I didn't know how on earth Ollie would go back to work, because I couldn't even feed myself or go to the toilet because he was basically on me the whole time. If he wasn't feeding, he was crying, or he just needed his nappy changed. There seemed to be little sleep, but there obviously was sleep. It just was such like a continuous routine. And it's so true what people say, like until you go through it and until you're in it, until you actually have a child, so many people can tell you about like birth and like that it's quite traumatic, and you know, having a child as just a newborn is so overwhelming. But until you actually go through it, I just don't think you can imagine it. Like you just can't. It's so difficult to put yourself in that situation because it's such a different thing until you're there. Wouldn't change it for the world, though. I'm already that ridiculous mum who like look at photos of him all of the time, keep going back a week and being like, he's grown so much, and look what he was like when we first brought him home, and look at him now, he's changed. He's really opening his eyes now and being like a little bit more interactive. Feels like he can properly see us, and he's also adapted a bit better or a bit more to being in the world. I think I have now learned that it's for both of you, like you're adjusting but they're also adjusting. And I really wanted to keep sacred the first 6 weeks, because that's when you like establish your milk supply and they change a lot, but then also the first 12 weeks because that's like your 4th trimester. Then I'm gonna like get back into hopefully life and me and work a little bit more, but at the moment no real rush. And then of course Ollie, dad, who is downstairs, that's actually, I'll bring him up in a moment, has been absolutely wonderful. My rock at the beginning, I just absolutely couldn't have done it without him. I really needed him to look after me so that I could look after and feed Edward, and I just can't imagine raising a child without him. It's just brought us so much closer together in a way, I think, because it was in a way a challenging time, life-changing and wonderful also. But postpartum, I was worrying more about like what clothes Edward would be able to fit in and what clothes I'd be able to wear and that kind of thing. But really the most important thing I think for postpartum is making sure it's not like it's so much having a supportive partner or person or there, it's also letting them know what you need a little bit beforehand. The food prep was amazing. I'm so glad that we had freezer meals. We are still living a bit on freezer meals, and I'm still at 5 and a bit weeks. We have no idea how we would manage and have the time to cook and do things as well. Because the washing is endless. We've got a wash on every day, and it's not just his washing, like we're going through a lot of washing as well. And you also just have like a lot of appointments post-birth, which I had no idea about. Like all of the appointments, like the hearing test that you have to go to, and the additional like midwife appointments. The first time leaving the house was so scary. It was unbelievably intimidating. And then the first time that Ollie went to work, I was actually terrified, which now thinking about it is ridiculous, but I was so terrified. Quite early on as well, we had a few days where Ollie was working at like distance, like he's doing it tomorrow he's in Birmingham, which is quite a drive for us. So he's been sleeping upstairs those nights, and the first night that I was on my own, not even in the house, he was upstairs, so at any point I could call, but obviously I didn't want to because he needed to get a good night's sleep. Yeah, I was just so worried. Like, why? Like, it's just this pressure of keeping human alive. Now we're a little bit more like, they make such noises at night. Now we're a little bit more like, oh, okay, he's just grunting in his sleep, that's fine. But in the beginning, it's a lot more terrifying than the like noises and just making sure that they're okay, basically. It's crazy how this little human could do that to you. I feel like I'm just nattering now, but it's been so nice to say hi, catch up a little bit, get back to reality a little. I did take him to Home Sense for the first time the other day, and he's already been to the recycling centre. So coming to some of our favourite places. Oh, those are the noises, hey? Ah, is my hair tickling you? Hey. It's very sweet, especially baby cuddles. I must say I do love being a mum, and I spend a lot of my days taking videos and photos of him, maybe able to hear what he is getting on with some of our doors downstairs. So reality is creeping back in a little bit. But yeah, thanks so much for bearing with us at the moment through this big new change in our life. But yeah, we'll be popping up hopefully a little bit until kind of April, May time. And then I'll see you then. Oh, let me just call up Ollie to say a little hi, and then we'll say properly bye. Ollie's back in his scruss already. Mine is still packed away.
Yeah, they're going to be packed away for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Till he's wandering on his own, but yeah, we're a little family.
Little family.
Well, bigger family.
Yeah, family of 4 now. What's it like being a dad?
Ooh,
Really thinking this one through.
yeah, I don't know. Like, some things haven't changed at all. It sounds really stupid, but it's just our normal life. Just someone's throwing a baby in. Which sounds stupid, but like...
But saying how surreal it still is.
Yeah, most stuff is all the same. It's just every now and again you've got to do something that you've just never done before.
Yeah.
But...
And it's being a lot like less selfish, I think, with your life.
Oh god, time is just not your own anymore.
No.
You can plan things, but then...
We thought we had little time before, but now it's like, ooh, how will we fit in everything that we want to fit in?
Trying to get a door lock fitted now, and it's taken days because you just snatch 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah. He's been so sweet though.
Yeah, he's been asleep the whole time.
Little cutie. Anyway, we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye. I have no idea what's going on.
Neither do you, Trouble.
Yeah. So many people have been waiting to see you, and you haven't even been awake for it.
So you got one, I got one.
He was up on my lap to begin with. He quickly moved. He was like, I don't think he thought this was comfy.
No.
Hey? Hi, Bubba.
Oh, he's all sleepy. Come on, let's go back downstairs. You've got work to supervise.
We've got a nap to take.
Oh.